conservative groups like FreedomWorks, tax reform begins and ends with scrapping the tax code in favor of a simple, fair, flat tax. So does Rick Perry's proposal meet that test? Max Pappas is the organization's vice president for public policy and joins me now from the Hill. Hi, Max. Thanks so much. What do you think of this 2020 proposal and how he's structured it with an opt-out and with the standard deduction still in?
Well, I've got to say we're thrilled that fundamental tax reform is now again part of the national debate. It disappeared for a few years between when our chairman Steve Forbes ran in '96 and our other chairman Dick Armey was pushing a flat tax back in the mid-'90s. And Herman Cain has brought the debate back. Rick Perry today brings the debate back. We're glad to see that he's got a flat tax. And he left some exemptions in there, so it's not a pure flat tax, but I think it's the sort of compromise that you might actually get moved through Congress.
What about the whole question of fairness, of progressivity, and of helping those who need the help in the middle and the lower income people? Doesn't the flat tax really favor the rich?
No, I would actually say the opposite. I think the flat tax achieves all of those things. I think the American people know that the current tax code is part of the problem in Washington, and that because it's a 60,000-page catalog of favors to powerful special interests, that's how you get the current situation where Warren Buffett pays less than his secretary, as we hear, or as corporations like GE pay zero taxes when they have income. It's because they're the powerful ones, they hire the lobbyists and the lawyers, and they get the tax code manipulated to favor them. You get rid of all those deductions that these big corporations have been paying for years to get into the code, and you throw them out and you level the playing field so everybody has to pay the same rate. And on top of that, on the progressivity, what Rick Perry has done is included a $12,000 personal exemption. So what you're talking about is a family of four earning $50,000 still pays zero income tax. Then you get to the point where you have a family of four earning $100,000. Their effective tax rate is on that second 50, so the 20% of the second half leaves them only really paying about 10%. It's not till you get up into the millions where you actually approach an effective tax rate of 20%. So I think this tax code has hit all of those buttons. It's still progressive. It eliminates the unfair loopholes that everybody hates, and it brings in the revenue, and it's optional. I think that's an important point. This has been tried elsewhere. Hong Kong, for example, optional flat tax. The people love it. I'd rather to spend 5 minutes filling out my taxes on a postcard than spending the 26 hours on average the Americans have to spend.
And what about, finally, the Herman Cain tax? I know he's trying to amend that proposal. We've yet to see all of the details. But do you still have concerns that he would be basically adding a 9% tax on top of state and local taxes?
I'm glad that Herman Cain really forced the debate on fundamental tax reform with his 999 plan. But I do have concerns about this national sales tax that's added. There's lots of problems with that. I think the flat tax is a much more sound position to be in. When you start adding a new tax, you increase the chances for the politicians to find lots of new taxes to raise, and that winds up being problematic.
Max Pappas, thank you so much for joining us today.